Alright, so today's video is going to be about feeding a wet food diet versus a commercial dry kibble diet for animals, more specifically for dogs and cats. Okay, so dogs and cats are a little bit different. Some nutrients that cats need, like taurine, that dogs need also, but they can synthesize and cats can't. But more specifically, we're staying on topic here because this topic has a whole bunch of subdivisions. Dry versus wet. And at the end, if you don't already know, I'll tell you what I do. Dry food, for starters, is good for shelf life or shelf stability or whatever. And I'm on my normal 4-mile excursion at the end of it. That's why I'm walking and not jogging. But it is also 90 plus degrees here today. Anyway, so wet food versus dry food. Dry, shelf-stable. If you have a cat or a dog that has trouble gaining weight, it's actually better to put them on dry. Carbs and stuff will help them gain weight. And there are some good high quality dry foods. Problem with the low quality ones is that's what he passed me, hold on. How you doing? Problem with the low quality ones is that you typically have a lot of carbs stuffed in with byproducts and preservatives and all kinds of stuff. Now, in order to make a dry food, obviously there's going to be some preservatives and some carbs in there to dry food. Problem is it causes a lot of obesity. It does nothing for the teeth unless you have a specific kibble that's designed to scrape the plaque off of the teeth, but you could just brush your animal's teeth like I do. Guys, you get that a lot here. The other issue is it's got about 9% or anywhere between 7 to 12% moisture, on average 9 to 10. Which causes chronic dehydration, and also a lot of the minerals and vitamins that are in a wet or a dry pet food will be taken out in the cooking process and have to be re-added back synthetically, which causes a problem because synthetic vitamins have been linked to causing cancer and stuff like that. My policy, or my idea on this is, if there's something in nature and there's something in a synthetic, like a synthetic vitamin or a synthetic version of what's natural, the natural version of it is always going to be better. Like I would much rather take, I take multivitamins too, but I get most of my nutrition from actual food sources. And that's what I prefer for my animals. I would much rather feed them a food source that is natural, naturally has those vitamins in it, than one who has man-made synthetic vitamins. I mean, they just absorb better. They absorb more of it because their body recognizes it more. So that's my big gripe with dry food, is the nutrients in the dry food are synthetically added. That causes a problem, and I don't like it. I don't like synthetic vitamins. Now for wet food, depending on the wet food you feed, because canned wet food isn't always the best either, because that's also cooked. So it means those vitamins are synthetically added to it. What I do is I take some raw and I mix it in with the canned, so that way, because the can has something like 78 to 85% moisture, which is wonderful because cats are ancestrally, and not dogs, but cats are ancestrally desert animals, which means that they've become good at conserving water, not that good at consuming it. They don't have a high thirst drive. So it's hard to get adequate water into them. Now, you could easily, put out, my pets have a drinking fountain. They have one drinking fountain, and then they have an additional water bowl on the other side of their food with 3 dishes laid out. Actually 2 dishes right now, so that more than one of them can eat at one time if more than one is hungry, and more than one of them can drink at one time if one is thirsty, or if they're all thirsty or whatever. There's enough space for all of them to eat and all of them to drink at the same time. It gets expensive when you're talking about wet food, because I feed 8 cans of wet food a day, usually. 4 in the morning, 4 at night, and I feed raw with those cans, so I get a higher moisture rate. Now with the canned food, you don't get as many nutrients, but with the raw that I mix in, those vitamins are naturally still in the raw prey, and so those vitamins are natural. So they're getting both synthetic and natural vitamins. I can't get them to eat the raw just by themselves yet, but they do eat it with the can. So I think, honestly, it's just a much better choice to go ahead and feed wet, preferably raw, or mixed raw and canned if you can. I just feed dry during the day because I'm at work. Anyway, that's my opinions on it. The best you can do, or the most you can do to most closely mimic the natural diet of your animal, is going to be what's best for them. Dogs are a little bit different because they're not obligate carnivores like cats are. They are omnivores, or opportunistic carnivores, scavengers, whatever you want to call them. Meaning that they could survive on vegetation they could survive on meat, and they could thrive on both of them also. There is a difference. Cats, on the other hand, can't. Cats need meat. And I want to go off on this topic here real quick for a second. I'm in a vegan cat group, and they have told me the typical line that you're always going to hear about commercial pet foods. Well, there's no real meat in those anyway. It's just synthetic vitamins. And they're right. They're absolutely right. That's why I feed raw. So they get real vitamins, not synthetic. And it's what I think everybody should do. Everybody. Because these animals depend heavily on us. I mean, we've domesticated them. It's our responsibility to make sure that we feed them the most natural diet and take care of them the best that we can. And it's not done with vegan food for these animals. It's not done with dry food for these animals. It's done with a moisture-dense, vitamin-dense, canned or raw diet. Peace. Sub, like, and comment below. Later. Deuces.